A very good morning to you and welcome back. I'm Tenda Chimelu and you're now on the Entrepreneur Spotlight on the Weekend Show. First, here are some business news headlines over the week. Federal government cuts electricity subsidies by 80%. The federal government's subsidy to the electricity sector has fallen by 80% between 2019 and 2022 as power companies seek for an increase in power tariffs. In its third quarter of the report, the Commission says that government support fell from 49.5 billion naira in 2019 to 10.2 billion naira as at the fourth quarter of 2022. NERC in its report stated that the introduction of the service-based tariff offered opportunities for DISCOs to improve customer service through sustained quality energy supply, providing a clear path to increased revenue without broad-based tariff increase by DISCOs. The Commission said ongoing DISCOs investments in infrastructure and metering initiatives will result in a greater volume of reliable energy supply to customers, improved revenue assurance, and in so doing, increased collections and market remittances. Meanwhile, DISCOs are clamoring for a rise in electricity tariffs as government subsidies fall. For DISCOs, factors including increase in exchange rates, inflation rate at 22.4% in May 2023, among others, should be reflected in the tariffs as the last tariff increase was benchmarked on 400 naira per dollar being the official exchange rate at the time. On our next news headlines, India triggers inflation fears after imposing major rice export ban. India, the world's largest exporter of rice, on Thursday ordered a halt to its largest rice export category in a move that would roughly halve their shipments, triggering fear of further inflation on global food markets. The Indian government said they are imposing a ban on non-basmati white rice after retail prices climbed 3% in a month after late but heavy monsoon rains caused significant damage to crops. India accounts for more than 40% of world rice exports, and low inventories with other exporters mean any cut in shipments could further inflate food prices already driven up by Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year and erratic weather. The ban was made effective from July 20, but vessels under loading will still be allowed for exports. And that's it for the business news headlines. And now to our Spotlight guest of the week. We have Mr. Light Ihesilo of Lognectics. Good morning. Welcome to the Weekend Show.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. So now we're going to be talking about AI. You know, the big white elephant in the room, artificial intelligence. So can you give us a brief explanation in simple terms for the computer novice, the average computer novice? What is AI? What is artificial intelligence?
Okay, basically as the word artificial intelligence imply, artificial, then intelligence. In simple terms, anything that is defined to be artificial means that it was created by man. It was designed for a particular use, which means man created it, right? Intelligence is basically the state of learning and also understanding, then applying. So basically what artificial intelligence means is that systems that were created with the intention of learning and processing data with the intention of providing information and also helping humanity with certain things. Now basically what artificial intelligence in broad scale means is that computer systems that are super smart with the intention of providing and aiding humanity and also mankind to process information.
Amazing. So now there's a lot of concerns about artificial intelligence now replacing human labor in the workforce. A lot of people are afraid that in future, it's already happening. Artificial intelligence is taking our jobs and all that. So many people have concerns about the potential impact of AI on jobs and the workforce. So what's your opinion on this issue?
That's a very strong debate, especially in the tech community and also among young people. We've seen the consistency to which a lot of people has been displaced from their workplaces. Like you will see on news, so company laid off about 70% of their workforce, and they've been replaced by robots. Maybe robots could be software systems or maybe hardware components that are working basically like elements. So with that, it's so true. But interestingly, I personally do not feel that artificial intelligence will completely dissolve the whole process of work. And this is exactly what I mean. I feel like in the tech community, what we basically do there is that we try as much as possible to provide systems that can help humanity. So they are basically like companions. And those who can utilize these already existing systems or systems that are going to be designed will be the ones that will be benefiting from the effect of it. Now, when we say, okay, with the trends now in ChatGTP, a lot of content developers a lot of companies that had to lay off content developers, script writers, copywriters, and you just go to a chat system and then you interact with the chat system and it develop a complete script for you on every single thing you need to know about a particular subject matter. Now, how this basically that was done is through a process called machine learning. These informations are, computers are trained with multiple information, with multiple data, and then they have to study this data and then provide this information. Now, the intention of artificial intelligence is not basically to just dissolve a lot of people from their work processes or their work systems. Basically, what artificial intelligence is there to do is to help us in the sense that I might be going through a very tough time in coming up with a concept for my next project, and I just basically interact with an AI system, and it helps me provide every single information I'm supposed to do. Now, if I'm going to be having staff base that are going to be doing most of this, it might be a bit capital intensive to pay people, but outside that, AI is still bringing up more jobs. And this is basically what I mean. I think last week I offered certain of my friends jobs that have to do with using AI systems to help provide information for certain organizations. Most CEOs and most founders of companies might not be able to do everything themselves. So they also still need humans that can help them process this information. They will need humans that will help them use this artificial intelligence system to provide certain functions in the organization. So to me personally, I feel like artificial intelligence is a plus to humanity and not basically a subtraction.
Amazing. I'm beginning to view it from another perspective. Now, being a computer user myself, I know it's basically about data and information, getting data, and all that. Yeah. And then there's the scary part of downloading apps on your phone where you click agree, and then you give it access to all your information, all your files, your photos, your videos, your mic, your camera. Yeah. You have conversations with a person beside your phone, and then the next thing you open your phone, you're scrolling and you're seeing advertisements of that are based off on the conversations, the private conversations you just had with a person. So these are some scary parts of the data analysis and compilation. So now, how can we strike a balance between utilizing data for artificial intelligence advancements while protecting the user's privacy rights?
Okay, this is a very, very interesting concept, because yesterday I was thinking about getting a particular gadget, and I just basically discussed with a friend, and I was going through Instagram Reels, and the next thing, most of the content types on Instagram Reels were similar. Now, this aspect of securing data is where
privacy.
It's where we now have to set up a systematic approach to startups and companies. Now, this systematic approach is going to help us to analyze this data that are being released consistently. And the data protection rights is also something very important. Now, most organizations that are out there, okay, for example, now our company are working on a system right now, and before we can launch that system, we have to get certain kind of permission to launch those systems. It's just like bank, certain fintech organizations now, they cannot launch certain things without requesting for certain rights. This is where these policies has to be put in place. Before you can use certain features on your smartphone and other gadgets, they will basically ask for your permission most of the time. They will tell you, okay, so and so software needs your camera to function. So and so software needs your microphone to function. So you giving that access means that they're basically requested for your permission to use that information. But there are certain times I could
Sorry to cut in, but sometimes you are almost forced to give this permission, because even if you don't want these apps to have access to your mics and your cameras, they won't be able to function. So now it's like that they're now forcing you, they're now forcing your hand to like give them that permission under duress. So what's your take on that? It's not like it's an option now. You just have to.
You just have to for certain applications to work. This is where this organization really needs to protect the data that they've collected from their users. Because now, if I give you certain information, I don't expect you as a company to release this information to the public. That's why they tell you something like read the terms and agreements and then tick. And they tell you something like most of your informations are properly encrypted. That is to say, in the future, maybe we could have a situation where humans will be suing robots. And robotic lawyers will basically come up and, hey, my client is innocent.
I heard recently about a robotic lawyer, something in the news, which kind of brings me to my next question now, because we've seen a lot of doomsday dystopian movies like Terminator. I saw one recently on Netflix, I Am John, about artificial intelligence taking deep fake human likeness and using them to create full feature movies of a human being. So what's the use of AI in creative fields such as like arts, music, and all that? How can AI be harnessed to augment human creativity rather than replacing it? And what impacts might this have on the creative industries and those who work in it?
Okay, for the creative industry, like, of course, there's this consistency and there's this rampant nature of artificial intelligence taking off the art sector. You could just take a picture of yourself and then the AI tells you that you should send about 5 or 10 images of yourself, and then it creates
100.
almost an identical look like you. So basically what this is basically doing in the art sector is that it's helping out to a large extent to boost creativity most times. Now, a lot of artists, not necessarily, that's when I'm referring to artists, not the music sector this time, I would still get to that. I'm referring to the artists that basically draw. You see most people, they'll spend hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands to get a single artwork hanged in their wall. But AI is basically doing most of those things. Now, most artists should not take it to be that they are losing their jobs. It could basically, they could take it to be, sorry, I might be sounding biased, I'm not a robot, but
okay.
But they should basically take it to be that it's a form of boosting their creativity. Okay, a few days back, I was trying to do an AI representation of myself, which I basically did, and it was quite interesting. Now look at the branding and the tech industry. I've been in the branding space and tech space for a long period of time, and it's quite interesting. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, Valiance, a few days back, and we're basically trying to see how, we're basically expressing how artificial intelligence has boosted the design scale. Now look at Canva. Canva came into existence. It did not take off jobs. Rather, Canva brought in more jobs compared to the regular Adobe and design softwares that are out there. So I feel like the arts and the design sector.
There's so much to discuss. There's so much to say about artificial intelligence, and I hope we do have more time on subsequent episodes to dive in more on this topic. But finally, in the next 1 minute, can you just tell us about Lognectics, your company, and everything involved with it? Okay,
basically, Lognectics, we've been in operation for a while now, and basically what we do is technology, of course, software and branding. That's basically what we do in the company. And we help organizations to implement state-of-the-art technological framework to come up with realistic functions in the organization. We build softwares for companies, and of course, system and application softwares, and also we help them brand the organization. So we partner with brands, startups, and different industries to come up with unique functions, just like the AI features that we're talking about. So we provide services and also build products that we could sell or still use for personal consumption.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Light. I really hope to see you on subsequent episodes of the Entrepreneur Spotlight, because I'm really interested in this topic and I really want us to get to the root of the matter. So thank you so much for coming on the Weekend Show. We're definitely going to see more of you on subsequent episodes. Well, there you have it, people. Mr. Light Ihesiolo of Lognectics, telling us about artificial intelligence and the pros and the cons. Well, it's a wrap on the Entrepreneur Spotlight, but stay tuned. We still have many more segments coming up on the Weekend Show. I'm Tende Chimelu. Do have a happy weekend.